Have you ever found yourself wondering why some individuals, especially women, have a little harder time getting to the top of an organization? Do you think it's merely the qualifications, or is it possible that there is more to that, like the intricate dance between politics and leadership? I invite you to watch this episode of Leading Intentionally when we're going to be talking about women, politics, and leadership. Welcome to Leading Intentionally, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of leadership transformation. I am Carmen Paredes, your guide in this journey, and I'm so thrilled to have you with us today. In each episode, we share strategies, insights, and stories to help you drive growth, enhance workplace culture, and lead with intentionality. Whether you are a seasoned executive, an aspired leader, or just someone passionate about positivity in the workplace, this podcast is for you. Each week, I'll bring you conversations with thought leaders, experts, and trailblazers that will share with you their insights, wisdom, and experiences so that you can apply these practical tips to your leadership journey. Get ready to explore topics like inclusive leadership, women's empowerment, effective communication, and so much more. If you're ready to lead intentionally and make lasting impact in your organization, you are in the right place. Let's embark in this transformative leadership journey together. This is Leading Intentionally. Let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of Leading Intentionally. My name is Carmen Paredes, and I want to talk today about this trio: women, politics, and leadership. And to understand the correlation between these three, we must acknowledge that the workplace is not always a level playing field. There's many studies that have shown that women, some men too, but mostly women, encounter a unique set of challenges, from biases and barriers that hinder their progression to senior leadership roles. But here's the twist: it's not just about gender. Office politics can become a major roadblock for anyone aspiring to lead. However, it seems like women in particular face a more complex web of challenges. So what are these challenges? There's 7 challenges I want to discuss with you that I feel that are intertwined between the gender and politics when it comes to leadership. The first one, yes, is the gender bias and stereotypes. One of the prevalent challenges is the persistent gender bias. Women may find themselves navigating a landscape where preconceived notions about leadership capabilities based on gender can hinder their progress. Breaking free from these stereotypes is a critical step. And even the words itself, leader, master, boss, manager, these are masculine words that put in your subconscious that it should be done by men, right? But these are not those times anymore. And then we have the second challenge, which is that glass ceiling phenomenon. This is another barrier for women. Despite advancements, there are often invisible barriers that prevent women from ascending to the highest levels of an organization. And understanding how to shatter that glass ceiling is crucial. And there's lack of representation. When women don't see themselves sitting at the table, making the decisions, having the conversations, making the presentations, it is hard for the next generations to break the barrier to go into that role, because you're going against tradition. And so obviously it's this chicken and the egg thing, right? Because we need to start breaking the patterns so we can allow more women into leadership. I cannot tell you how many times I was the only woman in the meeting room, the only woman making decisions, the only woman presenting at the board meeting. And it feels isolating. It feels very fulfilling, but it feels isolating at the same time. Then we have double standards. Women can find themselves caught in the middle of these double standards. Behaviors that might be praised in men could be seen as very detrimental in women. More than once, I was the victim of this same double standard that I'm talking about. As I mentioned before, many times I was the only woman in the room. And so my leadership model was mostly men. And I admire some of them that were very confident. They spoke for themselves, they stood the ground, they defend their teams. And when I did that, I was deemed as cocky, maybe even arrogant, just because I was a woman standing my ground, speaking my voice, and defending my team. That's the double standard I'm talking about. And then we have networking challenges. This is one of my favorite ones because having made it to the top in a male dominated industry, I actually have to call this one out. You know that the best relationships happen outside the office. And the boys, will go out and have a happy hour or have, a golf tournament or something in the sense of socializing. But it's not socially acceptable to invite your female counterpart, especially if you are both married, to go have a drink, to go out fishing, and things like that. But what happened is that during those events is when opportunities are discussed, when you can shine your light and be able to express and offer to the conversation other perspectives that are not necessarily on a day-to-day basis. And the women get singled out because society has this double standard and this barrier when it comes to socializing outside the office. And finally, we have the work-life balance barriers. I can tell you by experience that managing the demands of family, personal life, and work is nothing short of a miracle. And this is when good leaders stand out. Because when you actually see your female employees as someone that should probably stay at home, if your mom did that or if your wife does that, nothing again, stay at home women. But if you have a woman in the workforce that wants to go to the top and her calling, her vocation is not to stay at home, then you cannot just treat her as someone who should stay at home. And you need to understand that regardless of her personal aspirations, career aspirations, she probably have some responsibilities at home as well. Dinner, homework, driving the kids around, etc. But that doesn't mean that she cannot outperform even sometimes their counterparts. It's all about flexibility and recognizing this struggle and this juggling exercise that happens on a daily basis. Now, let's talk about some practical tips to navigate the waters of politics in the office. Now that I have shed some light in some of the challenges that women face, it is time for some practical tips. The first thing that I recommend you to do is to build strong relationships. You must invest time in building genuine connections within your organization. Try to go to lunch, try to go to coffee, try to have those hallway conversations where you can show who you are besides your title, besides the role that you are playing in that particular moment in your organization. This is a powerful tool to navigate politics in the office. Number two is to develop exceptional communication skills. This is very important when it comes to self-promotion. You need to be able to convey concisely your ideas, your values, your perspectives, your diplomacy, so other people in the organization can see and remember when they are thinking about someone that you can actually perform this new role because you fit into the culture and you have great ideas to move the organization forward. Number three is understanding organizational dynamics. It is very important that you get to know the key players. Like in a game of chess, you need to know the role of each person in the board, right? You need to know who you should be making alliances with and what are the potential pitfalls. Number four, speak your voice, advocate for yourself. Don't be afraid to raise your hand and to take credit when you did something good, because this is one thing that men know very well how to do, and we women really need a lot of practice. So make sure that in a political environment, you know that visibility is crucial. And last one is mentorship and support networks. If you can find a mentor that's well connected within your organization, besides all the beautiful benefits that come from having a mentor that can point out ways and you can improve your career growth and your personal development. This could be a great way to have your name on the hat when opportunities arise. As we wrap today's episode, when we talk about women, politics, and leadership, it is very important that men and women know that what makes an intentional leader is recognizing the challenges that your team could be facing at any particular time. And politics is something that doesn't go with women very well. It's like water and oil. As a leader, it's your responsibility to help the women in your team navigate this landscape so they can shine and they can contribute to the company in their best capacity. Until next episode, don't forget to lead intentionally.